What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse and the LCC Network for Week 12, the last regular season game of the season. This is it, my friends. We are here at the cusp of the LCC playoffs. We got a great show with me today. I've got Jameson. What's going on?
Hey, I am not likely to be at the cusp of the LCC playoffs. More like an LCC bowl game for the first time ever. Unfortunately, unless some things fall my way in Week 12. Guys, so we've got a pretty exciting episode. This is our Week 11 primetime recap that we offered last week. We said we would try to put something together. We're going to hit the primetime music and for the first time try to recap the games from last week. Doing our best Chris Berman and Tom Jackson impersonations, I think. They won't be spot on, but we'll try it out, see what happens. And then we'll do playoff projections, and we'll kind of mash that with some of the game of the week discussion. And this is likely going to be our only episode. We'll kind of see how the time goes, and if we have to do another one, we can from there. But Pat, real quick, I know you wanted to mention something about one of the rule changes.
Yeah, no, I just thought this is like, I guess I'm kind of filling in for Isaac with the come on, man. And it's perfect because it's the primetime recap stuff. But man, we have been hearing people whine and complain about players available in free agency, the draft just not being as fun, there's not many players. But Jameson, so far to date, on Tuesday night, 10:47 p.m. Eastern time, there has only been 2 people who voted for when owners trade players, their contracts carry on with that player, which makes no sense to me, considering how many people have been upset and complaining about the draft and it not being as fun. Yet we're going in this vicious cycle of I don't even know what to expect when we have like pretty much like the only decent players continuously getting revolved around between 24 teams, not even 12. So congrats to you guys for contradicting yourself.
It's gonna be
that's my come on man segment.
Yeah, here I'll
come on, man.
I saw that today and I was like, that's weird, because that's all I've heard is about the draft size and wanting to have more drafts there. People are like, oh, get rid of the rookie draft, and what is that going to add? Like 6 people back into the regular draft?
Exactly.
Like, at the same time, we're wanting to keep more keepers and not have contracts reset. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. I just want someone, and it's okay to have a different opinion. I just want some clarity. Like, do you want more in the draft or do you not want more in the draft? Like, that way we can try to propose things and build things how the league wants it. But I can't seem to get a hold on what people actually want. And I
don't know if they know what they want. Sometimes it's like I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know where to start with that.
I saw the thing about transparent. Like, I hear about transparency too, right? Like, wanting things to be transparent, and then people are voting to keep the trade committee, which is like the opposite of transparent.
Oh my God, dude.
Like, deals done behind the doors. The trade committee does deals behind it. We don't publicly say why we did or didn't vote for something. We just do it, right? Usually in the group chat. And it's not this big formal process that everyone thinks it is either. So I don't know. I'm just confused. I think I had a pulse on how things were going, and was surprised by some of the way the voting's gone so far. So we'll see what happens as we head into Week 12 and the rest of the voting. But Pat, do you wanna kick us off here with our prime time recap, man?
Boy, do I ever! Let's do it.
All right, we'll try to get. It's about 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes is the limit for this, so we can't go beyond 2.5 minutes. It shouldn't take that long, but make sure you bring the energy, Pat. You ready?
Oh, I will.
All right, here we go.
All right, so in our first matchup, we've got the Detroit Bad Boys versus the Spurs in Week 11, led by a pair of Cardinal defensive players, Hicks and Baker, Cameron slams Billy and grabs hold of the Elite 12 East going into Week 12. Both are sitting at 6-5 and looking to make a deep run into the playoffs.
I love it. Roebuck Leprechauns versus Buck Your Mother. The only thing that got bucked here was Isaac. As you bend him over, Patrick, and run away with this one in a 99-point victory. Pat, you lead the Elite 12 and have
kept it classy, not 100.
Not 100. Took it easy on him.
Yeah. All right. In our next matchup, we've got Give Me More versus Protect the Booty. Jameson held division, but whoop! It's a fumble! Give Me More one of the less than Tyler came to town and was on the wrong end of a 338-point loss.
Yeah, I didn't lose by that much, but he put that much on me. I think that's
sorry. It felt like it.
It felt like it. It felt like it for sure. Dirty Mike versus Terrible Towels, despite two single-point efforts by Jamie Collins and Grady Jarrett, the Towels cleaned up Mike's dirty act by squeaking out a 10-point win that ensures the division will be won with another losing record, just like it was last year. So, no surprise.
Womp womp. Next up, Michael versus the Crazy Legs. Apparently giving the same effort in Week 11 as he did to naming a team, Michael rumbles and stumbles all the way to a whopping 130-point total in a big loss to Matt.
Woo! I wrote that line, but it's hysterical hearing someone else say it. Primetime players versus the third leg. Charles Daquan could go all the way, adding another victory to his total. Daquan looks locked in for the postseason.
And what a time to be on a streak, too. Speaking of streaks, next up, we've got Mr. 300 versus Steel Curtain, led by La Marvelous Jackson. Mr. 300 gets an easy win in his quest for another LCC title.
Mufasa Moneymakers versus the Hash Sling Slashers. Mufali was straight cash money this week in a divisional game that keeps his playoff hopes alive. It moves him within a game here. I got to kick that back in. Moves him within a game of Mondo for the division title.
In our last matchup of Week 11, we had
three more. Three more.
God damn it. All right. In our third to last matchup of Week 11, we had Hunter of Champions versus the Eastside Brawlers. Hunter keeps the streak alive and takes down another Titan of the Elite 12. Already having locked up his division, he won't be happy until he's made everyone else his prey in the Little Critters Clubhouse.
I love it, man. I love it. Abusement Park versus Jordan. Jordan was straight up abused by Jamal Adams and Roquan Smith in Week 11. And guess what? His playoff hopes fall back. Gone. Jordan is all but eliminated. If he's not straight up eliminated, I think he is at this point. Sorry, Jordan. We'll see you in 2020.
And this matchup, we've got Wheatback versus Finkel as Einhorn, the game we were all looking forward to. Big Oz continues his skid and can't capitalize on a loss by Mike in Week 11.
All right, beg for G-Reg versus Vegetarian. Storm was begging for mercy in an 80-point beatdown that we'd be lying if we said we didn't see coming. Storm is done for 2019, and BP is on the cusp of clinching a division title in his rookie season. Pat, that was a lot of fun, man.
That was a blast. Why haven't we been doing that all year? Because that was
that was a blast. We can clean it up a little bit next time with the all that stuff. But that was very good. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that.
Yep, I did too.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Good writing. Good job.
Yeah. All right. We'll go into some updated playoff projections here. Top shot is not a whole lot's changed. Colby still the division champ, right up top. Daquan number 2, Hunter number 3, Mondo number 4, Michael number 5. So those are all still the same. And then Mufali has jumped into number 6 with Cody's loss and Mufali's win. Mufali has a better divisional record, and they have not played each other head to head from what I could see. So Mufali has jumped ahead of Cody for now into the playoff spot in the top shot. Anyone there surprise you?
I mean, the fact, I don't think we gave Daquan enough credit in the offseason. I felt like we really kind of, and even Colby, I felt like those are two guys, like we said they could be good, but like, just kind of felt lukewarm about them. But here they are, 1 and 2 seed going in to the playoffs if they ended today before week 12. Obviously, these things could change, but one of them is guaranteed a top 3 spot in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, that's I think you're right. I think they definitely were underrated. They've surprised this year, and good for them. For Daquan to kind of keep up his run. I know he what?
I was going to say, I will say this. So Colby, his schedule may have been one of the easiest schedule of all the teams that are currently have clinched a playoff berth. If you go and look at it, I think he's played maybe 1 or 2 teams with a winning record or something nuts like that.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I'll have to go back and look. I can't remember. But yeah, I was alarmed. I wouldn't say alarmed. I was just shocked.
Yeah,
alarmed.
Alarmed. I've never heard you say alarmed. Concerned, surprised, but not alarmed.
Surprised, startled.
Definitely not alarmed.
Sure.
The Elite 12, yeah. Pat, you're right there in the one spot. Division champ. You've clinched your division and have clinched a first round bye along with that. So congrats to you.
If only that wasn't like the storyline of every year.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Pat, you got a first round bye. Congratulations.
Exactly. I'm actually a little worried in our other league because it looks like I'm probably going to clinch a bye. And I looked ahead to week 15 and I do not like my matchups. So I'm already kind of worried, like, oh shit, what if I do all of this in the, over there and then get beat in the first round again, which has been like my history in the fantasy playoffs. But
club.
Now, number 2, BP. So in and out. I don't think I've seen more of a roller coaster than what's happening in my division with guys jumping way, 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 way up. And then the next week they're completely out, like down in the McDonald's Bowl. And then the next week they're back up into the number 2 seed or something. It's wild. BP's there. He'll have to win or have a loss by me for him to clinch the division, for him to hold on. In fact, even if he wins, or even if he loses and I lose, he could still lose the division if Tyler were to score a ton of points. But that's very unlikely to happen. So BP, I believe he's facing Tyler this week. So we can expect, I think, for him to win that game. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know though. I mean, it wouldn't be kind of cool though? This would be Tyler's second best year ever at 6-6. Wouldn't that be great?
His second best year ever. The way you said that. Oh my God.
It's the truth though. It's the truth. No, like this would be his second best season ever since 2013.
It is the truth. And it would be good for him. And we didn't even mention some of the other guys' games. I mean, you've clinched your division against John, so it's bigger for John. So we'll wait till we get there, I think, to discuss that. I just want to backtrack real quick. I know Mufali, he's kind of on the cusp. He's playing Finkel Einhorn this week. So if Mufali wins, he should be in the playoffs as the 6th seed, it looks like. And Finkel's a very winnable game. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. I mean, he has days where he can get close to 300, but more often than not, he's hovering around 270, 250, just kind of floating around basically.
Yeah. So I think we all have a lot of faith there. I think one that is important is Michael's game. He's currently sitting at the 5th seed. He plays Hunter. If he loses to Hunter, and then we see a bunch of other guys like Matt, Charles, Cody win their games and go to 6-6, it would basically come down to head-to-head and division record. And so it's hard to give you an exact roadmap because head-to-head, one guy could beat this guy, but he could beat another guy, and vice versa, over and over and over. But Michael's division record would be very poor if he lost to Hunter this week. I think it'd be 1-3. So he really, really wants to win this game to lock in that 5th seed. I think, to go 7-5 and lock that in.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty attainable, in my opinion. I mean, back to kind of what you were saying about Mike and Hunter, though. I mean, it's crazy, and we talked about this just earlier. Someone is going to win that division, the Elite 12 North, at either 4-8 or 5-7, best case scenario. hovering around anywhere between 79% efficiency to 85% efficiency in their starting lineups.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense. I can't believe that. Like that's going to happen. While Hunter has 91.1% efficiency, the highest efficiency of anyone in the league this year, and is a perfect divisional or non-conference record. Could you imagine if he goes in here and loses this? What that would just be.
It'd be surprising.
That would hurt.
It'd be
going
surprising
into the
for
playoffs.
sure.
That would hurt because that would knock him out into the wild card rounds. So he's got to play one extra game to get where he wants to be.
And, well, that's currently where he sits is the wild card round. But he can get into that first round bye with a win this week and then a loss by either Colby or Daquan. So we'll see what happens there. Again, they're all 9-3, so they're all in that same tier, right? Win, you're in the same spot you are now. Lose, you could fall out depending on what your opponents do. So Colby, Daquan, Hunter, I'm sure they'll all be, very, very keyed in this week, even though they've already clinched their divisions. And then Mondo, he plays Mike, so he's going to be playing.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
Oh, and we got
slinging slasher.
Oh, another.
Get it all in there.
Another. I'm getting them all. Another double drop. We haven't done that in a few weeks. They're playing each other. This is a very winnable game for Mondo. Mike, it looks like he might clinch his division at 4-8 this year, which is just atrocious. And there's just no way around that anymore. I mean, we can, I don't know. Something needs to be done about that. We just need to nuke the whole division and start over.
Oh, you know what? Jesus Christ. I totally got this mixed up. I like my mind over here. When we were talking about Michael Hunter, I don't know why I was thinking Mike from our league versus Hunter. I know that's not the matchup, but it's just, for some reason, when I was looking at those stats, I was not talking about Michael in the top shot as when I was spitting out the efficiency and all that, and the record, obviously. That's my bad. Michael's actually done considerably better than that. His efficiency is 87%, and he's 6-5. All right, so I think that game will be a little bit better than what we're saying. As I was saying this, like, man, these numbers are super low. How is he 6-5? Like, I don't know. I was obviously I dropped the ball.
Well, I thought he was in that division with Hunter, and maybe his division efficiency is lower. Maybe that's why he's 6-5. Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of letting you do your thing. I think you guys have to forget Patrick. He got way too hung up on the primetime recap thing earlier, and we just kind of put all of our attention on that for a little while, having way too much fun off show with that sound drop. All right, just kind of flip back to the Elite 12 here. Cameron works his way into the playoff projection for the first time the whole season. He's been kind of on the cusp, on the bubble. He's worked his way in there now, the 3rd seed. Took over Billy when he beat him last week, as we said in our recap. And he's going to be facing Peyton this week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a divisional game. Peyton's still very much alive in this thing. Cameron obviously wants to hold on to the division. Do you think Cameron pulls it out this week?
That's the thing, man. I want to pick Cameron in this matchup, but I don't know if I can. He's got some key guys in a bye. This is a terrible time to be facing that kind of scenario going against, a division rival like Peyton, who's a game behind. And I don't know. I just can't see it going the way Cameron probably wants it to go, finishing 7-5. I think you're going to have them finish with the same record. I don't know how that shakes things up, because I don't know what happens to Billy in that scenario, but that does put Cameron potentially out of the playoff race.
Well, if Billy beats Daquan, which is a huge matchup, by the way, we haven't gotten to that yet. But if Billy beats Daquan, then Billy would be 7-5 and would win the division if Peyton beats Cameron. Now, if Cameron loses and Billy loses and Peyton wins, they're all 6-6. In that case, it's going to come down to division records, because I think they're head-to-head. They would have split one each, if I am remembering correctly. There's a lot that I've got going on in my head right now. But so it would come down to divisional record. And in that case, I think it would be pretty close. They would all be 2-2. So it would go to conference record, and then it would go to points for, in which case, I'm just pulling this up real quick. It would be, right now, it would be Billy. So this is a wild division. It could still go any way. So we'll see what happens. But Cameron really wants to win this, and Billy wants to win his game to avoid that kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean that division's so up for grabs right now. It's unbelievable, and we kind of foresaw it being that way, but maybe not quite like this, where it's literally coming down to week 12. I don't know. That's gonna be a fun just set of matchups to watch. Is how that transpires.
Yeah, and Mike's here at our 4th seed, currently at 4-7. Big Austin Jade right behind him at 3-8. I think we're going to see our first division winner at 4-8. He's I still need to get that sound drop. He's playing Mondo though, and Mondo's fighting for his division title as well. So I'm sure that they're going to duke it out all the way to the finish. He's got a big task ahead of him. So I'm thinking we're going to see 4 wins here, but we'll kind of move on. Mike has been perpetually, really anyone who wins that division is going to be the 4th seed. So if you're the 5th seed, in this case, Billy, you might have a very easy road to the divisional round. Billy's at the 5th seed right now, lost the 2nd and 3rd seed to Cameron this week. If he wins in his game, he can stay in that seed. If he wins and Cameron loses and Peyton wins, then Billy would clinch the division and likely all the way up to the 2nd or 3rd seed again. So there's still a lot of movement here.
Oh, that's true. That's true. If we end up having the same record, though, Billy and I, or even Cameron and I, then either one of those guys would end up with the 1st seed versus the 2nd seed. Although it actually looks, at the moment, based off our bracket, it looks like the better place to be is really the 2nd seed.
Yes, that's the spot you want for sure. You want that. You want the winner of the 4th and 5th game, 5th seed game. Absolutely, that's where they go, right, to the 2nd seed.
Yeah. So
yeah,
the 4 and 5, regardless of who wins, goes on to play the 2nd seed. And regardless of who wins the 3rd versus 6th seed, moves on to play the 1st seed. Unfortunately, unless we change that next year, like I said, we could have like the 4th seed versus the 6th seed, and the 3rd seed, or I'm getting that wrong. Sorry, 5th and 6th play each other, and then 3 and 4 play each other.
Oh, I don't know. Man, there's still so much to be decided. Speaking of that, we've got John at the 6th spot. He has dropped a little bit because Billy owns the tiebreaker right now. So it's really in John's best interest if Billy were to jump back up top. John can't win the division, so he'll either be the 5th or the 6th seed sitting there. So not a whole lot of movement for him either way. It's just really going to dictate who he plays in the next round, or in the first round, basically. And he's playing you this week, Pat. So even though you've locked up a first round bye, I'm sure you're still going to bring the heat to John this week.
Yeah, I'm going to do my best. As much as I like to see my dad make the playoffs, I'm just trying to make sure that I can carry this momentum going into the playoffs, because I don't want to go one and done like I normally do. I want to be able to sustain success and make the full run. But yeah, we'll see. Let me ask you something. We didn't talk about this on or off the show, but is it possible for Isaac and my dad to both make the playoffs? Obviously, they have the same record. Obviously, they're both shooting for wild card spots, but I want to say Isaac lost to Cameron, so he can't beat Cameron in a tiebreaker if they're both competing for the wild card. But my dad will own the tiebreaker over Cameron and could potentially own the tiebreaker over Isaac as well.
Yeah, so Isaac can still get in if he wins against Matt, and if Billy, I believe Billy has to lose, if I'm not mistaken. So if Billy wins and Cameron wins, then Billy stays in the 5th seed. John stays in the 6th because John owns a tiebreaker over Isaac, and Billy owns a tiebreaker over John. So it's still possible for him to get in, but he's got to win, and I think Billy has to lose, if I'm not mistaken. So he plays Matt this week, so he can certainly jump back into that position.
Well, actually, if my dad loses and Isaac lose, Isaac will actually, I think, have the tiebreaker, wouldn't he? Because he would have they'd have the same divisional records. They'll go to conference record, but I want to say, would this not count as a conference game? I don't know how the website counts that. If the game against me would count, because if it does, then my dad's conference record would go to 4 and 5, and Isaac's conference record would be 5 and 4.
Who owns the head-to-head? Did they split?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on, let me go check.
No, you're
Let me go
right.
check.
And it would count as a conference. It would count as a conference game if it's in division. So you're right. So it's not a loss. It's not a Billy loss. It's a John loss then, right?
Yeah, I want to say you're right there.
All right. And actually, that leads us right into our next thing here, bowl games. Isaac plays Cody in the Visa Bowl right now if the playoffs were to start today. So good for them, I guess.
Good for them. Yeah, good for them.
As congratulatory. Yeah, exactly. As congratulatory as it can be for a bowl game, I guess. And then me and Charles in the Pizza Hut Bowl, which is just embarrassing. It would be my first bowl game ever. And
you
then
like
Peyton,
pizza though. You like yourself some Pizza Hut.
I freaking love pizza, especially during football season. So I'll take it, I guess. And then Peyton versus Matt in the McDonald's Bowl. Peyton is 2-0 in bowl games, as he talked about off the show, which is not a stat that I would be very proud of if I had only played in the league 2 years. But at least he wins them when he gets there. So good on you, Peyton. Last thing here, we wanted to talk about a couple teams on the bubble that can still get in. We already talked about Isaac. Myself here, I can clinch a division with a win and a BP loss. And I can also clinch a wild card with a win, an Isaac loss, and a Billy loss. Because I own the tiebreaker over Billy in head-to-head, and I own the tiebreaker over Isaac with division record. So if both of them guys lose, I can actually step into the wild card spot, which is astonishing to me. So it's crazy how the season's going to end. Peyton can still win his division with a win and a Billy loss, and then has to make sure he ties or leads in division record, which he would in that scenario, conference record, and then points for. So still alive. Tyler, this is a shocking one. Patrick, Tyler can clinch his division with a win against BP, and then make sure that he wins conference record and points for against myself and BP. He is not going to win points for. It's still mathematically possible, I guess, but very, very unlikely. So Tyler's likely out, even though he's still mathematically alive. So I felt like I had to at least list that here.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically going to have to outscore you by 300 points which means you would have to just intentionally not set your lineup and get 0 points, and you have to have a really good game.
Yeah, basically. Same thing with BP, basically the same scenario with him. Big Offs, he can clinch his division with a win and a Mike loss, and then make sure that he obviously wins the tiebreakers. Jade can still clinch his division with a win and a Mike loss as well, and then win the tiebreakers, which is not easy. I think it's more difficult for Jade than it is for Big Oss, but still mathematically alive. Can you believe that, Pat? 3-8. 3-8.
I don't even. I can't fathom that. I mean, obviously, regardless if like teams sort of move between conferences this offseason, like that division has got to be divided up a little bit to spread out the competition more. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
I know we brought it up a lot, but I just bring it up because I can't fathom. It just blows my mind. And then we've got a couple in the top shot is still alive. Cody can clinch a wild card spot with a win and a Mufali loss in his game this week. Charles, you can and Cody plays me, by the way. So it's going to be we're both still fighting for a wild card spot, or in my case, a division spot. We both set our lineups. It's projected to be very close. So we'll see. I looked at the metrics this week. Cody and I are literally like 14 points apart, I think, over the course of the season. The power rankings almost identical. The record's almost identical. Division record, points for, like everything, almost completely identical, which is crazy.
He's averaging 276.4. You're averaging 275.1.
Yeah. So like a little more than a point per game is the difference right now. So it's absolutely wild. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. Charles can still clinch his division, clinch a wild card with a win, but then he has to have losses by Cody, Matt, and Mufali in that case, in order to do that. I mean, they could win and he could still try to break some of the tiebreakers, but it's not very likely. And then Matt's in the same situation, can clinch a wild card with a win and losses by Cody, Charles, and Mufali. Or if some of those guys win, try to break the tiebreaker, but it's very, very, very unlikely. So those guys are still technically alive, but obviously not everyone's hopes are as equal as others. So, all right, Pat. Well, that's kind of what we wanted to go through.
Yeah,
All the
that's it.
playoff projections. So, hope you guys enjoy.
Probably should have mentioned it at the beginning, but this is our last episode of the regular season, guys. Obviously, we'll be doing it in the playoffs, but it'll just be one episode per week, kind of like we did this week, a little bit longer, but break down the matchups a little bit more maybe than we have been doing.
Yeah, there'll be a lot less of them, so we'll be able to dive into them more in depth. Maybe do another primetime recap since their games are going to be, the games are going to be smaller. We can actually maybe dive into that. I hope you guys like that, by the way. I don't know what the audio quality is going to sound like until I get into editing. So I guess we'll all just kind of figure it out as we go. So, all right, Pat, with that, we are done. Good luck in week 12. We'll see you before week 13. And I liked this, guys. I really had a good time. Anything you want to add on, Pat?
Yeah, no, I mean, let us know, guys. Like you said, if you want more of that primetime stuff, or you want anything else in the show, let us know. Like if you want us to, continue the podcast in the off season. We haven't really discussed whether or not we were planning on doing it, but yeah, All
right, well, we'll let you go, Pat. I'm gonna play the primetime to let us out. Whoop! We'll see you next week, guys. It's a fumble. Whoop! See you next week.